Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Ashley's Treasure, and I am continuing on with the Peter Rabbit journal. My last video was when I was doing all the lace and ribbon on the book, and I was still doing this, and I cut it so it'd be shorter. But when I couldn't really do anything in the journal, and because the ribbon that I put on the spine was drying, and I didn't want to keep on opening and shutting the book because that would mess up the way it dries. So I did have this little trifold that I took out that I was working on, and I showed the process of how I made it. So this is going to be like a part 2 of it because it was the only thing I could do at the time while I was waiting for the rest of the ribbon to dry and everything. So I was doing a little cluster on the bottom right of this little page in here, and the little bird I fussy cut from one of the original pictures from the book, and it just needed more. It just didn't seem right just by itself. So I was looking at what all scraps I had around, and I actually took a paper doily, and I was just a tad bit of it around the edge of the bird, and I tried using that little flower because that was one of them that I did the die cut with, and it just didn't look right. There's that really thin ribbon, which was actually scrap pieces from one of the tags I made, but I liked how it, together it looked like the bird was standing on it, and the bird is already glued down, so I cannot move it. This would have been easier if I put everything down so I could layer it better, but because of this, I kind of had to work around it, and it needed something on the top right of it. So I found this scrap piece of flowers that I got from this book. This is the Perennial ones. I love these books because towards the end they have all these little pictures of all these different flowers, and I just wanted this top little piece right here, so I'm going to fussy cut it out. Also, I recently did a video on tips on fussy cutting. If you want to see that, if you want to learn some tips, it'll be in the description box below. So I'm just carefully fussy cutting this around because the little bird needed something on the top right of it, and I thought this would fit just right, so I'm gonna cut it out and see how it looks. And when I placed there, I actually quite liked it. It looked like it belonged there. And so I got that little piece of paper doily, the ribbons, and then I also had I have a bunch of little numbers cut out, and I just randomly grabbed one, and because I just need a little something there. And so I was fiddling with it, and I liked how it looked, so I got my art glitter glue out to adhere everything. First, I started off with the flower that I cut out, and the glue was coming out way too fast, so I had to smudge some of it off. And I zoomed in so you can see a little better. But those flowers in those books, because I have 2 of them, the first one I did all, the odd number pages, and then the second one I did all the even number pages, so that way I had one of every flower, which I love. And then after that, I still looked the pages that I cut out, I looked on the opposite side to see what little parts I had left, and there were some that I could see using, like that purple one that I just fussy cutted with. That was like a scrap piece because originally I cut the flower off that was on the other side of that page, so I really try to get everything I can out of those flowers. And here my glue is gooing everywhere. It was dripping everywhere, so I got some on my hand, so instead of getting more glue out, I'm just putting the ribbon, some of the glue that's all over me, which is kind of off camera, which isn't necessary scene anyways, but yeah, so I'm just adhering that on the bottom, trying to line it up just right. and then the little number, and I forgot to distress it because I used the I've been using the antique linen is the color I've been using in this journal. When I use a distress ink for a journal, I try to stick with the same color so everything kind of, you know how everything's from different books and everything. I still try to use the same ink so it kind of looks like everything goes together. And there I just added that little number, and I actually quite like that little collage. And you can see the glue everywhere. So I had to try cleaning that up. Luckily I was doing this on the glass mat instead of on the desk itself. But yeah, I thought that looked really cute. Although I found out that ribbon was a little crooked. And here I got these, I can't remember what they call them. They're from Tim Holtz. They're these little strips with numbers on them. They have some writing, but it's supposed to be like number strips, I think is what they call them. But I haven't used them yet, and I really wanted to use them, like fold them and use them as like little tabs for on the pages. And I really wanted to use this pink one for some reason, and I didn't know where. And I was trying to get it where the word was on one side and the number was on the other, and I accidentally folded in between the numbers. And I actually kind of liked it because it gave it more distressed age look to it. But I just had the hardest time finding the right place for this one. But I was determined to use it. I didn't quite want it to cover the bird that's in the back. That's why I was like having the hardest time figuring out where to put it. And so I started looking through some other ones that I could use, trying to get new ideas, because I was having the hardest time with the pink, but I really wanted to try these out. And I found this one I really liked. It had like a fun number and then like a size on the other side. So I folded right in between that, and it looked perfect. And of course I had to get the ink out and distress it first. Sorry if you hear a weird noise in the background. I have the dishwasher going, so you might hear some odd sounds. And so I just used my art glitter glue, and it was coming out so fast. And again, it dripped all over the mat again. It was driving me nuts. So I was actually just like smeared some of it off because it was way too much. But I really liked the look it gave. It looked like it belonged there. I loved it. And so I was still determined to use that pink one somewhere. And then finally I decided to use it on the bottom of this page. And so I just used some of the glue that's already all over my desk and spread it onto the tag. Didn't want to waste that glue. And I forgot to distress it, and so I tried to do it as a glue down, which I didn't think, I just put it on, so I probably could have taken it right off with no problem. But of course, I was not thinking and did it the hard way, trying to get some ink on it to look a little bit distressed to go with the rest of the little things inside of this little trifold. And then since I had one towards the top and one towards the bottom, I thought, why not have a third one kind of in the middle? So I was looking for another page that I could add it on. And then I forgot I had this little sticker that I really wanted to use. I can't remember what it said, but the colors went with the rest of the things that I was using in this project because the lace ribbon had those pink flowers and the green leaves, and that like matched it, and it had some of the same blue. So although I wanted to find some pink cardstock to place it on to have like a border around it, and I was having the hardest time finding the right pink, and finally I found some scrap from one of the scrapbook paper that I've been using in this journal. I still had quite a bit of it, and I just needed a tiny little bit. And of course I used my glue because stickers never stick. I always have to add glue on it. They don't last long. Through time, eventually they start coming off, especially for a journal. That's why any stickers that I use, I always still add glue on them. And then once I glued it down, I trimmed off to have an even border all the way around the sticker. And then I was just gonna glue it down, and I thought I was gonna do like maybe, add some more little things collage to it, and instead I decided to do something different with it. At first I was debating if I should do it on the left or right, but I ended up doing it on the right side because the left side already had lines on it to write on, and so I didn't really want to cover that, and there's nothing on the right page, so I ended up on the right, and I ended up making it like a little pocket, so I just did the right side and like the bottom part so that it could add a little tag in it. And again, trying to get the extra glue off. And I found this stamp that I have not tried yet. I got it from like a big box of stamps I got from Salvation Army, and it had so many stamps in there. If I remember right, it was like $5.99 for it. It was like a big shoe box, just loaded with stamps, and it was like such a great deal, and I actually liked pretty much every single stamp, and this one I haven't used yet, and I really wanted to try it out. Oh gosh, I forgot what they call these. The stamping tool. I'm just gonna call it my stamping tool. It's the one of the Tim Holtz. So that I love it so much, and this is my favorite ink. I always use VersaFine ink because it's really good for fine details. But I love using this stamp because, or this for my stamps because so many times I miss a spot, and it's so hard to line a stamp up again. It's hard to get the everything lined up twice. So this tool is so handy. It was so worth getting. I know they have like two sizes. They have like a 12 by 12, but I thought that would be way too big. So I got the smaller one that's 6 by 6, and it works great. I love it. I use it so much. And I'm glad I used it because on the top right there, it didn't stamp completely. It kind of missed a spot. So that's why I love this tool so much. And then I was just getting my trimmer and just cutting off the extra parts. And I stamped this on the same scrapbook paper that I used on this trifold. And now with my fingernail, I'm just kind of like pressing it down because when I use that trimmer, when you cut, it kind of leaves that part where it goes up a little bit. So I was just smoothing it out.
And of course I had to distress it with like everything else. Once I distress one thing, I have to distress everything. Then I really wanted to try out these new markers that I got from my aunt for Christmas. They're these alcohol markers, and look at all those pretty colors. I wanted like a really light blue and a light pink to go with the other colors of the flowers I have going on. And so I got this yellow one that's 120. I used it for the center of the flowers. And then I used the number 263 to color the flowers. And that's when I saw that it definitely goes through the paper because of being an alcohol ink. So that kind of um, made it useless for using the scrap paper, but it was a scrap of it, so I don't feel so bad. But I'm definitely gonna have to put something else on it. Um, and then the blue, I did the little dots that was on that stamp and just kept dotting. I didn't color. I just kind of like dabbed and was kind of following those little dots on the stamp, and I really liked that look that it gave. It was really fun. And then I used the number 134 to do the little frame around it because I kind of wanted like a golden look. I really do like these markers. I like the little handle that they have on the fine tip part. It really feels good on the hand. And then I went back with the number 123 and went over the little yellow spots inside the flowers because once I colored it, you could hardly see the yellow. It looked like nothing was there, so that's why I needed a darker color. And so I'm going to use this scrap piece and get this little bunny in the back of my little tag. This was the paper that I used for the inside part of the cover, and that was the scrap piece I had left. And you can see all that alcohol ink that leaked through. So I'm just getting my glue stick and trying to get glue everywhere. And so I'm kind of picking it up so the light is behind us. I can see where it's lining up to make sure that the bunny would line up just right. And then I'm just using this tool to like smooth it out and make sure everything's stuck well, just varnishing it. And then I should have used my trimmer again, but I just did it by hand, and right there I cut crooked. I swear, I'm pretty good at fussy cutting, but when I do straight lines, I'm terrible. I don't know why. I can't do straight lines for the life of me. So I kept on having to go over it again and again, getting all the pieces that I missed, trying to straighten it out. And then I thought of kind of curving the corners a tad bit because it just didn't look right being having a sharp edge like that. So I just snipped the corner and kind of like smoothed it out a little bit because I didn't have any. I do have corner punches, but not that tiny. And I like that a lot more. And so I'll save that little scrap for later. And then, of course, I had to distress this part as well. And that's when I realized I still missed a spot, so I had to cut that part off and went back to distressing it. And it fit in there just right, and I thought that was really cute. It really makes me want to put a tag on there, but because of the stamp on there, I thought it would look weird. And so I'm just going through to see what else I could do. I thought of putting something on this page, the book page, because I have all these flowers that I wanted to try out, and it looked, because of being small flowers, it didn't look right with the small writing. But then I saw this one, and I really liked the roses. And I thought about adding one of the flowers behind it as like a little tag, so I used the light pink roses as a pocket, and I really like that idea. And I like the way this one looks. It looked like when you tuck it behind, it looked like it belonged there. And these, the flowers on the right, the ones I'm going to use as a pocket, those are some die cuts from Tim Holtz as well. Um, I do like them, but the one thing I don't like is that it's not like the normal die cuts he normally does. It's not like matte paper. It kind of has like this light gloss to these ones, and I wasn't aware of that because, you know, it's hard to see when they're in the packaging, that plastic packaging. It's hard to tell if it's glossy or not until you open it. And so I really do like them, but that's the one thing I don't like about this um, these flowers itself. Also came with butterflies. It was all flowers and butterflies. And of course, there's like a white gap all the way around it, so I had to distress it to make it kind of blend in more with everything else. And so I got my antique linen and distressed all over the place, all the edges. And then I was seeing where I'm going to glue it down, and I'm just going to do the leaves all the way on the right and on the bottom. And so I just used my art glue, a little bit of my art glitter glue. And these die cuts are quite thick too. It's thicker than cardstock. And then I got my trimmer out, and also when I cut these flowers out of the book, I always leave on the bottom, they have the name of the flower. I always include that with it so I know what type of flower it is. Um, So I snipped that off, and all the extra, piece around it that I didn't need, I was just making it smaller so I could make a little tag out of it. And then I found a scrap piece of a book page. It was from the Garden Encyclopedia. And so I'm just kind of cutting the same size as the flowers because that's going to be in the back of the tag. I'm going to use this little scrapbook paper. I'm going to put the flower on one side and then that scrap piece of blank paper in the back to journal on, because the back of the scrapbook paper has another pattern. It's double-sided, so it has another pattern in the back. So I'm, of course, distressing both pieces so it all blends in. And this scrapbook piece of paper, that pink paper, matched the flower pretty well, and had that light pink just like the roses, so that worked perfect. And this time I'm going to use my trimmer instead of trying to cut it freehand with the scissors. And so of course I had to distress that part as well. And I almost forgot this part, which already has some age to it. And it has like a light stain on it too. And I really like how that turned out, and it slides right in the little pocket. And it looks like those flowers belonged with the roses. And so I'm just trying to see what else I could possibly do. One page from the original book, it had all the bunnies' names. Cottontail, what was the other ones? Moppy, Floppy. Yeah, Moppy, Floppy, Cottontail, and Peter. And I already had the names cut out, and I used Cottontail on one of the pages, and so I thought, why not use the other ones on these tags? Because I did want something on the top left of that little tag that I made, so I put Moppy on that one, and then I was trying to find the other one, this one, and I thought I might as well put Floppy on that one. And I was trying to find the right spot to do it, and of course I had to distress it. Luckily I distressed it first this time before gluing it on and then trying to distress it. But I think I put on the top left. And this is when I remember I forgot to put the name of the flower on it. So I carefully cut that out. I couldn't find the right spot. Normally I put it on the bottom left, but it was like covering the stem and the leaves, and I actually didn't like it. I didn't want it to touch any of the picture of the flower. So then I thought, why not put it in the back of the tag? And I actually quite liked that. It's kind of like a title for it. So of course I had to distress it really quick, and then I glued it on with a glue stick. And then I couldn't really find anything else I could do with it because there's so much in there. I went so overboard with this little trifold because originally it was just going to be a little card, and I just kept adding pages and then just kept adding tags and decorating it and going on. I had a lot of fun with this little trifold. And I got this little ribbon to tie it shut. And after I tied it, I didn't realize I had it upside down. So I tried to fix it a little bit. The spine was finally dry, and that hair tie that I used was like broken. And it was brand new too, and it already broke. But yeah, I put in the little, I already have like a little spot in the journal for it. And it's all cute. So, and then I realized that it was almost 6 in the morning and I needed some sleep. So that's where I ended. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Bye.